Hey, this is Cameron from Florida Man on Florida Man. We're the podcast all about Florida. We do crazy Florida Man headlines, talk about our experiences growing up and living in Florida now. And then Wayne, one of our co-hosts, gives us a story every week about the legends, the lore, and the history that came out of Florida. We'd love for you to come by, give us a listen. Check us out at fmofm.com.
Rydell, and welcome one and all to a new school year. I know this is going to be an exciting and stimulating year for all of us. First, I'd like to extend a welcome back to our own Mr. Spears, who made such a miraculous recovery from the mental exhaustion which sent him to the hospital last spring. Welcome back, Mr. Spears. We're all rooting for you. Now, Rydell is very proud of her extracurricular activities, so please come out for band tryouts. If you play an instrument, it's better to play with a group than with yourself. Auditions for the June Moon Talent Show will be held next month. One and all, you could win 100 long-playing records. Last but not least, we are fortunate to have a straight-A student all the way from England by the name of Michael Carrington.
Stand up, Michael. All right, now let's all say hello to Michael Carrington.
Hello to Michael Carrington. Let's have a wonderful year.
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Triple digits.
Oh, my goodness.
101.
101.
Yep.
I can't believe it. Oh, my goodness. Everybody listening out there, my name is Pete.
And I'm Scott. And these are the movies that made us gay.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I'm so excited to talk about this episode.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is so wild.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of requests for it, actually.
We have.
Too.
Yep.
But, Scott, why don't you go ahead and introduce our wonderful guests, and let's talk about the movie.
We watched Grease 2 with Drew Droege. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome.
What
welcome
a delight that you are here to talk about this movie.
Oh, likewise.
We're such huge fans.
Oh, thanks.
From, like,
Indeed.
the Facts of Life Live that we've seen numerous times.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Indeed.
Your Mrs. Garrett on... Your Mrs. Garrett is one of the most insane pieces of theater I have ever seen in my whole entire life.
I mean, I guess I have to say, I've seen a lot of great people do Mrs. Garrett, like Paul Vogt, I think of, and Madeline Long. I've seen a lot of people who I've seen them all do it on stage before, and so you have to go even crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you have to really up the Paul Lynde and who else? Do you know this crazy thing? So Charlotte Rae, Paul Lynde, and I want to say Alice Beasley. I get Alice Beasley and Ghostly confused. They all had the same acting teacher.
Oh.
So they all talked like this. They all, if you listen to them, Bernice from that's Beasley,
Ghostly.
right?
That's
Ghostly.
yes.
Okay.
At least Beasley is
Beasley
from Moonlighting.
is from Moonlighting. Thank you, Miss DePesto.
Yes.
Same childhood. I get the names confused. It's very
Likewise.
different. Both incredible actresses. So they all had the same teacher, and isn't it funny that they all kind of had that?
That makes
nervous. Shake it out.
That totally makes sense.
Oh my god!
And of course you do the Golden Girls Live with Jackie and Sherry.
Yes, I
which we
only
love.
do 80s sitcom parodies in the basement of Casita del Campo. But yes, we do Golden Girls. Yes.
I mean, hey, good work if you can get it.
Absolutely.
And we've been to several. We also have to mention the iconic Miss Chloe Sevigny.
So good.
Yes, of course. Oh, thank you.
What do we call
Gift
those
that keeps on giving.
viral videos?
Sure.
Well,
they were.
I think we remember seeing you do Chloe almost 10 years ago at, I think that it was at...
It was at the Fault Line.
It was at the Fault Line.
Maybe so.
Just a random...
Chloe's
just
been
a
to the
random
Fault Line
night
before. Yes,
that Chloe's here, and
absolutely.
you were just walking around doing Chloe.
We were
You know?
we were kind of like, what are they talking about? Why is Chloe 70 here? And then you came out, we were like,
Oh, right.
Oh,
yes,
I see.
of course. Yes. But wouldn't it be great if the real Chloe Sevigny was at fault line? I wouldn't put it past her.
Right.
you know?
Just making appearances. Like, I'll come
Sure.
out and talk about some songs.
Or
And
whatever.
Look at the giant neon cock on the
Yes.
on the wall.
tip
that,
your
that
dancers.
squirts neon joy across the wall.
I know that they
Yeah.
just got a new location, so hopefully the neon dick went with them.
They did. I didn't know that they got a new
I
location.
think that they got
Oh,
a new
great.
location.
I think
I've been
so,
following the
good.
owner on Instagram,
Uh-huh.
and she's been posting something. That
Okay.
they figured something out.
Ruby? Is it Ruby?
Yeah, Ruby,
Yeah.
yeah.
Love her.
This has been Gay LA Nightlife.
I know.
Yeah.
People listening going, wait, this is real deep cut.
But we're
Real
here
deep
today-
Silver Lake cut.
Yes, exactly.
We're here to talk about Grease 2. So shockingly, we have not gotten to Grease 1.
Oh, it's fine.
But we'll get there eventually.
This one,
But Grease 1 is not really that gay, I don't think.
Right,
I mean,
right.
you know what? I mean, you've got your lead actor who we all know, but but Grease 2 is undeniably queer.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
just unfiltered Alan Carr.
Absolutely.
That I feel like Randall
Yes.
Kleiser, who did Grease 1,
Yes.
was probably really good at just reining in Alan's ideas,
Yeah.
like everything that he was going for. He really reined it into a pretty solid hour and 40-minute movie. Mm-hmm. But Grease 2 is just like...
yeah.
They're
How
just
long is Grease 2?
Oh, it's almost
It
2 hours.
feels-
Oh,
long.
great.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
it should be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
need every one of those.
It's a lot of story to get in.
One-
But it's
120
definitely just unrestrained Alan Carr that is just
Oh.
throwing everything at the screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting that Alan Carr, had this reign over Hollywood, and it pretty much started with Grease and ended with Grease too. I mean, I guess eventually the Oscars that he
Yeah.
produced, in '86 or whenever that was, with
Right.
Snow White and Rob Lowe, but. Really, I mean, Grease 2 was such a bomb. It was the beginning of the end for him.
And Where the
career-wise.
Boys Are was probably 83.
Yes, probably so. Something
Reunited
around that
Lorna
time.
Luft.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Grease 2 was not a hit.
No.
This was
No.
released.
No.
I mean, it was given probably about more than half the budget of the original movie, and it didn't even come close to those box office numbers. Also, looking at the opening weekend box office competition, it opened with E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Never heard of it. Not familiar.
And it's like Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Rocky
What's
III,
that?
and
Yep.
Poltergeist.
Oh, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Those are all
I know.
iconic.
Oh,
I mean, that's the best Star
Those
Trek
are-
movie.
those
That's
are
like
hard
the
movies to follow.
Those are really you can't. Also, I mean, just the trend by 1982. Movie musicals were so out of
Oh,
fashion,
yeah.
and
Oh,
Grease and Saturday Night Fever really kind of brought them into the forefront. And so, because 1980 was that year when there were like 14. I mean, I'm sure you've done them all on the show with like the Apple and Can't Stop the Music and all those. And so
The
it's
Apple.
like, by 82, everybody was like, we don't want to do this
Yes.
anymore. We want blockbusters now.
and then add to that the music in this movie. I mean,
I mean,
come on.
when I say I love it,
Yeah.
I mean, I love Heinz ketchup, and you know what I mean? I love it's trash that I am very horny
Right.
for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. Cool Rider is actually a bop. Like that
Oh,
song
it's
actually
fantastic.
slaps.
Yeah.
When she gets into it and her voice is like doubled and tripled over because it is Michelle singing, right?
I think so.
I think so. But like it's actually a really good song. But
Yeah,
I
mean,
think that's
who's that guy on that motorcycle? What would they say if they knew it was Michael? Come on, that's
Yeah.
pretty genius.
Yeah, these
that's pretty
lyrics.
great.
But the opening number
Back to School Again?
Back to School Again.
Yes.
These kids are coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Hot.
This
Oh,
movie-
they're ready
This
for it.
movie
honey.
comes in at like a 10.
Oh yes, that's why I love it. It's so unapologetically
Yeah.
in your face.
Yeah.
yeah.
But the thing about that song though, it's not great. Like it's no like what's the opening of
I mean,
Summer
it's-
Lovin'?
Summer-
How are you gonna freaking
Right.
beat
Summer
that?
Nights,
Summer
yeah.
Nights?
Right.
How are you gonna beat that?
No.
You're not.
Well, I mean, like with Grease, it's a musical written in the 70s about the 50s.
Right.
Yes.
And so, and even when they did the movie, the song Grease it's so Bee Gees.
Oh yeah.
Disco. There's nothing 50s
Yeah.
about that, like, that opening number, which is so funny to me. Like, there's nothing 50s about this song. But then, so Grease 2 is set in the early 60s, and it's so 80s. And at that point, they're just sort of just like trying to do anything. And, I don't know what style it is. But
Well, I mean, if you look at even the main, not just the the extras or the background actors. The main cast, the other pink ladies besides, I mean, even Michelle Pfeiffer's look is not period whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
But the other pink ladies, Maureen Teefy from Supergirl.
Movies that made us gay all-star.
Fully has
I love Maureen
huge
Teefy.
perm.
Yep.
That is like not period. Her whole thing is that she wears this pillbox hat because she's kind of like
Jackie O.
obsessed with Jackie O. But her look is nothing like it.
Right.
Lorna Luft, who, I mean, we thought...
Paulette.
Yeah. I mean, we thought Stockard Channing was an old-looking teenager. I mean, I feel like Lorna Luft looks like one of my
absolutely.
aunts.
And I'm here for it.
Me too.
I mean, I'm 44 and would happily play a teenager in high school if they were given the opportunity. But I mean, I grew up watching these women.
Yeah.
And I thought that was high school. I was like, I want to be friends with Rizzo and Paulette.
Oh yeah.
And I'm terrified of them.
Oh,
I
absolutely
don't want to sit near them, but I want them to like love me and protect me.
You would be like the Pamela Adlin character, following them around.
And that,
I'm obsessed with her.
and she's Paulette's
Me too.
sister. I think in like the writing, she's Paulette's younger sister. Also, what grade is she in? Is she a freshman? She looks.
I don't think they ever.
They never.
I don't think they ever label her like what. How old she is.
And we were joking. Is she a ghost?
What?
It's like pretty much like. Is she just like somebody that they're sort of making up?
Well,
she just exists at the bowling alley.
No,
because she looks like 10 or 11, yet she's there at the rehearsals for the show, which this talent show.
I have a lot of questions about this talent show.
The movie is so leading up to the talent. There's so much real estate in this movie given to this talent show.
Yes, the rehearsals,
the auditions, all of it. Stakes couldn't be higher. So I get it.
You remember when you were in high school and there was one talent show that the entire school year everyone prepped for?
Oh, absolutely.
And you auditioned for it the first month of school, and then the final dress rehearsal was in May.
Yeah,
right, exactly. Your entire senior year. That's what you're going to do before you have a hula luau.
Before graduation,
rock a hula luau. That sort of situation.
Oh man, the Rockahula Luau. I can't. Okay, so we're starting off with Back to School, this crazy, intro scene.
And this is when we get introduced to all of the leads of the movie.
Well, okay, the thing is for me, like the elevator pitch is kind of like gender swap Grease.
Right.
Like,
So we had an Australian
and it's
the first one,
and it's
now we're
kind
gonna
of
have an English.
And it's the new class because we're going to sub in new actors for
it's 2 years
all of your
later.
favorites.
Even though it's 2 years later, none of them are there. I mean, I guess because they were all seniors in Greece, and so by Greece too. But you never, sure.
Although Eugene is still hanging around.
Eugene is still there.
Eugene's still there.
Yes,
I guess he was
Eddie
just
Deason is still there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was a freshman.
Eddie Deason, like prototype, like nerd, right?
Yes, and he's also in Midnight Maniacs. No, Midnight. I'm confusing a John Waters movie. Midnight Madness.
Okay,
with Michael J. Fox and David Naughton. It was I watched all the time as a kid, and Eddie Deason also played a nerd in that. Okay. And he used to be my neighbor, and I used to see him all the time, and he looks exactly the same.
Love that.
And you see him in passing, you're like, "That's Eddie Deason."
Wow.
And he
is
the voice, all of it.
We just watch "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and his scenes with Wendy Jo Sperber are very cute.
Oh my God, who I love, and Nancy Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great movie.
So I feel like the pitch is there. It's there right off the bat because we've got the British guy taking the place of Sandy as the Australian girl.
Michael Carrington.
Michael Carrington.
Love that name.
I mean, come on.
Could not be lazier.
Completely.
We were just like all night last night. We just were calling him Alexis Carrington.
Of
course, the whole night we're just like, "There's Alexis."
Yeah. When he gets off that bus,
oh my God,
talking about the title of your podcast,
this face,
the feeling,
so
you're like, "Oh, hello, sir."
That face,
and he can still get it. I mean, he is a handsome man to this day,
married to Haley Mills' sister,
her older sister.
Yes,
she's significantly
He's
older.
Into the older ladies. I love that.
Yeah, and they've been together for a million years. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and he's kind of. He got the brunt of the fallout of this movie not being successful.
Because Michelle immediately got Scarface.
Right.
Which is wild.
Yep.
Yeah. They're both wonderful in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Michelle is really great. And it does make me sad that apparently she's kind of ashamed of this movie and doesn't like to
Well,
talk about
I
it.
feel like now she's kind of coming around to it. That
I
when
would
you
hope
see
so.
her on
Yeah.
talk shows,
Because I love her. I'm
Oh,
a huge
yeah.
fan. And I would hope she could look at this now and go, come on.
yeah, when you follow her on Instagram, she does post like cool writer gifs. So
Oh,
I
great.
think that she's learning to embrace it and not take it so seriously.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because she's super charming as this character, so she's our analogy for Danny Zuko, right? She's
Right.
like the leader of the Pink Lady. She's the tough girl. But I feel like all the similarities kind of stop there with the like analogy of it's just gender swapped.
You can't quite do it with all of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is Adrian Zmed Rizzo?
Kind of.
Right?
Yeah.
He kind
I
of
think
is.
so, yeah.
Because they had an on again, off again thing.
Sure.
Her and,
So that makes Lorna Luft Kaniki?
that was what I said.
Sure. Yep.
Lorna Luft is Kaniki.
I mean, I
all of a
get
sudden,
it.
yeah.
I would actually kill to see Lorna Luft as Kaniki
Right?
in Greece.
But then
Now.
the rest of the T-Birds in this movie are like so much. I mean, granted, Jeff Conaway was gorgeous
Yes.
in Greece, but the other two. I mean, the T-Birds in this movie are cute.
They're real cute.
Yeah.
They're real cute.
Christopher
They're real-
McDonald, right?
So cute. And Peter Frechette. They're very, yes.
Who's gay?
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
And
I
then the
believe
other
so,
little
yeah.
one who kind of didn't really do much.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was like in the sidecar of someone's
Yes,
motorcycle.
yes.
And then at the end, when they all get the freeze frame as couples, he's by himself.
Oh, so he's gay. That's the gay
Yeah,
kid.
right?
That is the story that's being told there.
So there's two gay T-Birds.
Yeah.
Love it. Because we have Gina Davis's husband from Thelma and Louise.
Yep.
And then, and Peter
Christopher McDonald, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Christopher McDonald. And Peter Frechette, wasn't he in 30-something?
Maybe.
I think so.
I think he had like a
I
big...
feel like, okay, yeah. I definitely watched him a lot as a kid. And
I
saw him
think
in a lot
he
of
had
things.
I think he had this big like controversial gay kiss or gay sex scene or something in 30
okay.
something.
There's no way of knowing. We'll never know.
I know. If only we
possibly-
could look it up.
Maybe I had something to check this out. But yeah.
At any rate, the T-Birds are really hot, and Adrian Zmed as Johnny.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Adrian Zmed in this fucking
Scott
body.
cannot get over his body.
Oh, Adrian Zmed
Oh,
is the
yeah.
hottest
Can
thing
hit
ever.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think that we were discussing with Millie last week that like Adrian Zmed is like showing up for this movie.
Yeah, Millie DeChirico, she said Adrian Zmed in Grease 2 is showing out the
Yep.
entire movie.
one hundo.
Yeah.
And I believe that he came from the stage version of Grease. I
I
think,
think
he
you're
played
right. I
Danny.
did. Yes.
Yep.
He's done a lot of. I know he's done a lot of stage work because I remember there was a big thing when he and Pia Zadora
Yes,
did
who I love.
Funny Girl. I want to say.
Oh my God.
I want to say the two of them did Funny Girl. I mean,
amazing.
talk about God. I wish I was there to see that.
That's like 80s like explosion.
Completely.
Adrian Zmed, some of our older listeners may remember from TJ Hooker.
Yep.
Yes.
He
Sure.
was like the young hotshot on that. And we briefly talked off mic about Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Also, Adrian Zmed and Tawny Katane, R.I.P.
Yes,
Yep.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Yes.
Adrian Zmed, I mean, his voice is like, you could tell he comes from the stage. But
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got a great voice. He's doing
Yeah.
good. He's singing
Oh,
out.
Absolutely.
And I was reading that Andy Gibb, I think, was very close to getting this role.
Oh.
really?
Yep.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well,
Although
I don't know how I feel about
maybe it would have been the Maxwell Caulfield part. I don't know.
that. Right.
Andy Gibb was
yeah,
very
that,
close
that
to
probably
getting.
that probably would make more sense because Andy
Yeah.
Gibb was a huge star in '82, so
Yeah.
he probably would not have done the sidekick.
And also, isn't Alexis Carrington supposed to be Sandy's cousin?
Yes.
Yes, which
Right?
makes no sense because Sandy's from Australia.
Right.
It's their
But in the
English
'80s,
cousin.
they were like, "It's from somewhere
It's
over
the-
there.
it's
It'll
the
be the
same.
same."
They've
yes,
got an
yes,
accent.
that's right.
Sandy has family in the UK and
Right,
in
yeah.
Australia.
He came from that.
They had prisoners in Australia, or I mean, how do you? It's just sort of
His family
insane.
goes very far back.
And you can't have cousins in America from other countries, so
no.
they have to be from other places.
Oh,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
it was Alexis Carrington.
That-
I believe that he won the role over Sean Cassidy, Andy Gibb, and Rick Springfield.
Oh.
Wow. So they went through
Yep.
all the teen idols.
I mean,
Yeah.
you just can't deny that
so
face.
Didn't they kind of pluck Maxwell Caulfield from obscurity, though? That's interesting
Yeah.
that they kind of passed over big pop stars at the time to go for this guy. But you're right, that face.
That
I
face.
that face.
Shit.
And had they put anybody in that part, it wouldn't have changed
yeah.
the movie at all.
Absolutely.
It's unfair to. I can't imagine being plucked out of nowhere and being told you're going to do a sequel to the biggest movie at the time, and then it just that's got to just really sting.
Yeah, totally. And then also kind of to see your co-lead go off to have
Sure.
Have
her
wild
career
success
flourishes.
immediately after this movie.
Right.
Crazy. So I kind of want to talk a little bit more about Michelle Pfeiffer's character. When we first see her, again, nobody looks very period. Their clothes, I guess. But Michelle Pfeiffer comes in as Stephanie, and she's wearing her Pink Lady's jacket, and they're satin this time around. And underneath her Pink Lady's jacket, she's wearing a sweatshirt. And she's wearing a sweatshirt. But then at the first day of school, there's the big, huge song and dance number. She's wearing a sweatshirt, coolest girl in school, wearing a sweatshirt and like pants or something. And then later on in class, she's wearing a pencil skirt and she's pulling up her pant legs and hiding them under the skirt. So it's like...
Who was the script supervisor on this thing?
But I don't know if it's kind of a thing where it's like she wants to wear pants because she's like, she works at a gas station.
Right.
Maybe she's coming from work at the beginning of a school day. I don't know. But I'm watching this going, I don't understand Stephanie's like look. Her aesthetic was weird to me because she's not as girly as the other Pink Ladies. Definitely not as much as Lorna Luft, who was like, with the nails.
Drag queen girly.
Yeah.
I mean, just like hyper, over the top girly. Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I mean, she's still a cool character and she's still like what pulled me
I
into the movie.
loved
Yeah.
the character. I mean, I so prefer Michael and Stephanie over Danny and Sandy any day to me.
Yeah.
They were both so much more interesting because I love like a tough girl who's just like in a loud mouth. And she's gorgeous. And I mentioned earlier in the episode that I love Heinz ketchup, and her ketchup obsession. I was being it's okay to love ketchup as much as I do.
So wild.
It was who was writing that, being like, here's a character quirk for her. Let's have her eat a lot of ketchup
And complain
Great.
about
no
not
notes.
ketchup.
Moving on.
Yeah. So they did this fun thing in this movie where they put in some like 60s stars
Yes.
as teachers.
Connie Stevens
Come on.
spoken in this movie.
Oh my God, well, she's great in Back to School at the beginning.
Yes.
She's really into it, and her hairspray.
And it's funny because I'm like, maybe we follow like drag queens a little too closely because she gets made fun of for how big her hair is. And I'm like, her hair's not that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and isn't she the cosmetology teacher? Right? Or no? Did I just
think
make
that
that
she
up?
does acting appreciation or something.
Acting appreciation
She
for
says,
high school.
She says something like that to the T-Birds. Are you going to be in my acting appreciation
that's right.
Yeah.
class?
Yes.
I'd love to
What a
see
crazy!
you.
It's not an acting class. It's acting appreciation.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
watch movies and say, "Isn't that wonderful?" I agree. I didn't appreciate it. Well, you get an F if you didn't appreciate it.
Every fail.
So the other 50 star is one Mr. Tab Hunter.
Oh, legend.
Yeah.
The greatest. I love Tab Hunter so much. Talk about someone who has a great sense of humor and who was so aware and who was treated so horribly by this town, this business.
And especially at this time in the late 70s and early 80s, you didn't see Tab Hunter in a lot of shit.
No, he had just done Polyester with Divine, the John Waters film. And
a lot of main studio movies, I mean. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was a huge, I know it was a huge get for John Waters, and it was New Line Cinema's first movie, and it was a whole thing to be like, we got Tab Hunter to be in a Divine movie, and he's so great in that and just goes for it. And then to come in and do this, it's like, but he was supposed to be it was between him and Rock Hudson, and they just decided we're going to out Tab Hunter and let Rock Hudson be in the closet and have a career. And, and he ruined his career by being who he was, by being out and who, and God, what a hero Tab Hunter is. And it's like, so to do that and to be so funny in Grease too, it's just like he was so went for this like really silly.
Yeah.
Mr. Stewart, is that his name?
I think so. And he looked great too. Him and Connie Stevens, like in the
Yeah.
their scenes together,
yeah.
they're just
They
like
look great.
Smoking.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's supposed to be this thing like, look who we dug up, but the two of them look amazing.
Yes.
And like the girls are making fun of making fun of her, like, oh, all 300 pounds of your hair, and it's like she looks better than you with your like Dorothy Hamill,
and she's 3 years older than you.
Yeah, exactly.
So calm down. with all that.
Exactly, exactly. The Doublemint twins.
Yep.
in this
Oh,
movie.
yes, I forgot that they were in there. Yes, my God. Come on, that is pure
Yeah.
Alan Carr cocaine talking.
Yes.
Be like, let's put the Doublemint twins in. They're hot this week.
Absolutely. And they fully have their like Cindy Williams,
Yes.
haircut, the Dorothy Hamill. Absolutely.
Give me a Coke.
So other people that are not period whatsoever. Who else did we say that's just kind of wild that's in this?
Well, there is the teacher that has the nervous breakdown that we just heard the clip of.
Who is
that
the teacher?
Never gets paid back. Never gets called.
No.
I mean, I guess they
They
only had 2 solid hours.
They bring him back for the luau because he walks in the pool.
He walks in the pool then. But you're like, who is that guy?
They also got Sid Caesar to come back for,
Oh, yes.
for one line.
The
Yeah,
last movie of Eve Arden too,
It
who we
was?
opened up the show
wow.
with. Yep.
I did not know that was her last film.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
Eve Arden and Didi Khan.
Yeah.
From the original.
Didi Khan,
I mean,
who-
I'm sorry. I do that. I can get that confused too. Dodie Goodman is what
Dodie,
I'm
yes.
saying, and Didi Khan also in the
Right.
film. So yeah,
Dodie Goodman, who as a very small child was my favorite character in these movies. And
Frenchie. I'm sorry, Dodie Goodman.
Dodie Goodman, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Isn't that? Yeah. Oh goodness. But
Blanche,
yes,
who
Blanche.
smudges the papers with the chocolates.
She was my favorite character as a
Yeah.
kid. But you mentioned that you think Lorna Luft's younger sister might be a ghost. I think Frenchie in this movie
Oh yeah.
is a spirit
That
that
would
is
totally make sense because there's
haunting
no
Michael.
reason why Frenchie comes back
None
for
whatsoever.
such a short amount of time.
So I was reading today that Didi Khan said it in an interview that the script was unfinished when she began filming, and they still had this character in it. And the character eventually, as the production went on, was written out.
because she
So
just
I
stopped
feel like
showing
she
up.
was supposed to be in more of the story.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, we're not really going to use you in this movie.
But
then
we're gonna
she-
keep your
and then
scenes
she
in the
ended
beginning.
up in
Yeah.
the final cut of the movie.
That is so wild. I mean, it happens all the time when people, it doesn't fit in the story, and they have to,
Yeah,
and then
they lift 'em out.
edit them out. But it's like Tracy Ullman in Death Becomes Her,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
there's a whole storyline with her, and they just cut it out. But it's like a weird thing where there's like we're just going to keep going. I mean, that is when you realize that just the wheels are off the bus. Like we're just
Yeah.
going to.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand why of all the characters from Greece, they're like, let's bring back Frenchie. Like, did she not have enough screen time because she was at beauty school?
Maybe
And
she's the only one that said yes.
possibly.
Yeah.
And I know that there was early talks with John and Olivia, and maybe they just couldn't meet their salaries. Like, it just didn't go anywhere.
I read that they even just tried to get them in as a cameo at the very end. Just like,
Sure.
we'll just bring them in, at the very end as they're driving away or whatever. They even didn't want to do that.
And Frenchie is Jerry blanking it. She's going back to school
Now I'm
Totally.
to learn high school chemistry.
But now the most important thing in my life is skincare.
So, tinting's out and skincare's in.
Right. That's why I'm back at Rydell. To get my chemistry so I can mix my own cosmetics.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's yep.
I like how I love how he replies to her of, "Oh, that makes sense."
when she exposition dump of why she's there.
Yeah.
She's like, well, first I was in beauty school, then I got kicked out, and now I'm back because I want to make my own cosmetics.
And now I'm back in school.
because there's no other school to go to than high school.
Yeah, exactly.
So anything you want to learn, just go back to high school at any age. There's nothing else.
She's picking up where she left off.
Oh boy.
We also notice, I mean, we're still kind of talking about this introduction scene, but we also noticed during the big dance that there is a row of about 10 school buses blocking off the street because they probably couldn't afford to block off the
Yeah, which is a production trick of
Yes.
when you want to
Yeah.
hide something, you put a school bus in front of it.
Yeah,
There
that's-
is
that works. There's just a lot of people coming at the exact same time
an
and
armada
back to school.
of school buses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, are the songs the best part of this movie? I was going to say.
I love them. They're other than Back to School, and maybe and Rock a Hula Luau.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's girlfriend. I'm thinking they're almost all about sex. I mean, like they are really just like, this is the kind of sex I like to have. This
Reproduction, do it for our country.
Yep. And Score tonight. Prowlin. Cool Riders, very sexy and all about like everyone's obsessed with it. You know, it's they're very horny.
Yeah.
In this school.
So it starts off first day of school, and then all of a sudden it kind of cuts, but you're not really sure if it's the same day, but they're wearing different outfits, and now we're in gym class, and this motorcycle gang from the first movie breaks into the school, apparently. 10 full-size motorcycles are now just riding down
Leatherface.
the track.
Right.
What's his name?
Right.
Craterface.
Craterface. Right.
Yep.
Which is rude.
Yeah.
But also he's back, and he was like 46 in the first movie, so he's also there.
So now it just looks like a group of adult grown men
bullying high schoolers.
Yeah.
Right.
But also the high school boys that they're bullying also look 35. So.
It's true.
But yeah, that scene on the field is wild because just seeing all these motorcycle guys.
So Pete pointed out last night that have you ever noticed the slippage of the guy running track?
Yes, someone just posted this on Twitter the other day of just all the giblets falling out and the one guy running. Yeah,
he's doing the hurdles.
Yep.
And he's in those old fashioned shorty shorts doing the hurdles and
did not wear his jockstrap that
and
day.
It all just clops out, and they caught that, and they're like, let's just keep this in the movie. I mean, he's PG.
It's on the streaming version on Paramount Plus, so
yeah, it's there.
It's there.
Yeah, thank you, Alan Carr.
Exactly. It's when the Doublemint twins go up to Michael to ask him to be in the talent show, I think.
Oh, God, how horrible to upstage the Doublemint twins with beautiful genitals.
I also have questions about this talent show because I feel like the group of high schoolers from the first movie would not be doing this talent show. I feel like they need to be punished to doing this talent show. Like they have needed to get in trouble. And you're going to do your time by auditioning for the talent show.
Or make up your bad grades or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But these are kids who love to sing and dance about what they love.
This is true.
So, they are, this is, they didn't really have other outlets to really do that.
Yeah.
So, in the world of a musical, when you don't really know, do they know they're singing? Or do we just know they're singing,
Yeah. Well, when that biker gang comes in and tells the T-Birds they want to fight or whatever, and they're like, oh no, we're not going to fight you tonight, we're going bowling. Right? Which is
as you do.
All right, I guess that's a way out, but you just told your rival gang where you're going to be. So they can ambush you, which they do. Spoiler alert.
Gosh.
But it also
Classic mistake.
But it also leads us to the amazing number at the bowling alley.
Oh, yeah.
Score tonight.
I think it's one of my favorite numbers in the movie.
Oh, I will randomly just play it.
Yep.
I am just jam the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
So not only is the song wild, the whole production number is wild because they're just moonwalking up and down these bowling lanes.
Well, the movie was directed by the choreographer, whose name is I can't pull it up, but she's Patricia Birch. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Her only movie.
Okay. Great. But didn't she choreograph the first film?
She did.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Great. So you can just tell this is very much about the dancing because that Score Tonight is like a number. The extras that are doing that, and then the spinning around on the, and oh my God. And again, it's very sexual.
Yes.
And you get the introduction of Lorna Luft's incredible throaty, deep baritone.
Yes. Her singing in that.
Hey, Johnny, I mean, just come on.
Yeah.
This was the screen debut of Lorna Luft, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if she had done a movie before this.
Wow.
What's her character's name?
Paulette.
It's interesting because Paulette's delivery as a character, she's just like, I'm not going to mess up these nails. But then when she sings, she's just going for it.
She loves it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Paulette is a full drag queen.
Yes.
That's just, come on.
Gold lame pants that she's snatched into.
Oh my God, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
So good. And then the dancing in the number is wild because, like you said, it's this huge choreographed number. All the extras are going crazy. Full on nuns in full habits.
Yep.
Swinging
Love
bowling
that.
balls around.
That's also a sign of that era. They wanted to put nuns in musicals because it's always like, what else? Who else could be there? Nuns. It's an instant joke.
Yeah, somebody wacky.
Right.
And like the dancers do this thing where like sometimes they'll like look right into the camera and sing.
Not all of them do that,
Not
though.
all of them
Yep.
do it, you know. And this is where you first see that one of the featured dancers is Lucinda Dickey from the Break-In movies. And she was also, she's like the female lead in both Break-In movies. And she was also in Ninja 3.
The Domination?
Yeah, The Domination.
I remember that
Exactly.
from childhood.
Oh, wow. She's the the welding, flash dancing ninja.
I remember that
Possessed.
movie very
that
well
movie.
from childhood. Yes, that's her.
Yes.
Wow, how crazy.
She's just she's kind of not that recognizable, but it got pointed out to us recently, and I was like, there she is. I see her now.
Boom.
So Score Tonight is wild. The choreography is out of control, like we said, but then Michelle Pfeiffer kind of only does this thing where she like is like hailing a cab with her thumb, like she does zero dancing.
Well, I think I was looking up an interview that Michelle did, I think on James Corden, where she talked about the audition process, and she just said, I have no idea how I got that role. It was a fluke because I can't dance. And I don't know, like, I was just plucked from the audition.
Yeah.
That it was just like, it's going to be you.
Her singing's serviceable, but it's not like... She's not a great singer by any means.
I mean, it's no Olivia Newton-John.
But it's also,
Hello.
you know, I mean, I think it's also one of the, she's undeniable. She's a
Yeah.
star.
Well, yeah.
I
That face.
saw her in person one time, probably 20 years ago, just on the street. And my first thought was, oh my God, that's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And then it hit me who it was. And that was, late 90s, 2000s. And I'm like, but she's still to this day is that, but yeah. So I get like her walking into a room and everybody being like, oh, I think it has to be her.
Yeah.
We'll shoot around her dancing or whatever.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And in Score Tonight, she's just kind of like shaking her thumbs. That's like the extent of her dancing. But I love that all these kids, these are, again, high school students. They all like have their own bowling balls.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
as you do.
Walking out with bags, bowling balls and bags.
All the pink
Love it.
ladies have their own bowling ball bag.
Yeah. They're, they just love bowling.
Let's bring that back as we get out of back into the world. Let's all get our own bowling balls. How fun is that?
Well, the thing about bowling in Southern
need
California,
for sanitary reasons.
Yeah, that's the thing. We need like bowling gloves or something. But bowling in Southern California is crazy expensive. Why is it so expensive to bowl?
Where I'm
now?
from in Montana, bowling is kind of the blue collar sport.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah.
I didn't
fancy
realize
here.
that. I haven't gone bowling in quite a
expensive.
minute.
Oh
Is it
yeah,
really?
it can get pricey now because the other thing they're doing is that they're making bowling alleys like all like wild. Like there's screens everywhere, and there's touch a button, and there's food, and the food is like crazy. Like they do the cocktails with like a whole hamburger like sticking out of a toothpick.
Oh, great.
They make it like this elevated experience,
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's like
come on.
$40,
and that takes
to
the
bowl.
fun away from it. I'm like, I'll go out to
Exactly.
dinner. I'll go to a nice dinner where there's not loud clanging and there's just like the smell of like shit leather everywhere.
Yeah. I love like an old dirty old bowling alley.
Same.
So I think it's an interesting character note with Stephanie that she's not jealous of Paulette when Paulette does pursue
Johnny.
Sure. That it's more just Stephanie's still just pissed at Johnny and she doesn't really care if her friend dates him.
Yeah, that's a very
like
feminist
that.
perspective.
Yeah.
Because I always hate that when the woman hates the other woman. I'm like,
Right.
go after the man. The man's being the dick in the situation, not her.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I think Stephanie more than anything is just like, we're over. Like we broke up, right? Her whole thing is like this is not a thing anymore. Like date whoever you want to date, right? But it is kind of shitty that anytime Johnny would see Michael or whatever, he gets like super possessive about Stephanie. But it's like, but aren't you like banging Paulette like actively right now?
Right. I know. Poor Paulette.
Yeah, poor Paulette. She is a doormat. Well, I don't know. But so there's this whole thing that Frenchie introduces that she, her expository dump at the beginning that like pink ladies can only date T-Bird.
Which I don't think that was introduced in the first movie.
No.
Yeah.
And it'd be real limited in your
Yeah,
scope.
because there's only like 4 Pink Ladies.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing. They never made it a thing that Sandy had to become a Pink Lady to date Danny.
Right.
They didn't really care. But now it's like, these are the rules. We cannot break them.
Yep.
And
Yeah, but Sandy did like change her whole identity because of all the all the postmodern, dissertations on Grease that are like, it's an anti-woman movie because she had to change her entire identity just to be with the guy,
But,
so
hey,
maybe things happened in those 2 years. The rules just really got really strict. Who knows?
Yeah.
But hey, Danny did go out for all those sports trying to impress Sandy. So,
That's right. That's true.
Hey, it worked for everybody. But so Michael kind of has to figure out this whole like situation where he needs to become a T-Bird.
He has to. I think it's also Michael has to assimilate into being an American teenager from being like English.
Right.
Because when he's walking up, like he's reading like his teenage like social guide.
Oh yes,
of how to interact.
Yeah. So
because it's because it's so different that that he wildly popular in the UK, but he gets over here and has no idea how to be a person.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Sure.
But eventually he starts writing. He starts doing their homework.
Yeah.
Right? For the T-Birds and taking their money. And, I mean, I guess he's doing homework for the entire school because he's saving all this cash to buy a motorcycle. Right?
And he learns that after the Cool Rider song.
Oh, right.
Which is a
Cool
great
Rider.
It's a great showcase of Michelle.
Yeah. Because they have this moment where they kiss at the bowling alley. Because she's like, I'm so over you, I'm going to kiss the first guy that I see.
Right.
And it just happens to be Michael. So when he calls her on it and he's like, hey, we kissed. Like, let's, keep kissing or whatever. She's like, oh, no, I could never date you. I got to date a Cool Rider.
I could never date you with that beautiful face.
I know.
I mean, come on.
You're so hideous.
Right.
Because you're not a T-Bird. The Cool Rider song, the whole number is amazing. I feel like it could have been a single on the radio.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
her on that ladder.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hot pants. It's all so good.
But we did notice, though, that at the end of the song, she like...
It's my favorite part of the movie.
She leaves him, and the song is kind of fading down, and she's like dancing away.
But Stephanie's still in her own universe, and you just see everybody going out.
She's
like everybody just going
about
through
their
day.
business.
Yeah.
She's still in music video mode, kind of like hopping and bopping away.
Right, I remember
down
that,
into the deep distance. But there are like students just like reading books and like walking by her as if they don't see her doing this crazy wild person dance.
But I mean, God, who didn't do that in high school? Like, and you're just daydream that you were in a musical.
Yeah,
and there were
true.
many days I'd walk up the steps of my high school in North Carolina. I'd be like, what if we all just started singing and dancing? How cool would that be?
Absolutely. So Alexis Carrington starts doing all their homework to save money to buy this motorcycle. What is the next dance number after?
Is it Prowlin'?
It must be Prowlin'. I think it is. I've got Cool Rider.
Reproduction.
Oh, Reproduction. Okay, so we're back at school.
Oh, my goodness.
With Tab Hunter, and and it's just, we're literally learning reproduction.
Reproduction is wild because this classroom has about 50 students in it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It
On
is
top of each other in this classroom.
filled to the brim with kids.
But has there ever been a song with the word stamen in it? I mean,
Probably not.
I mean, that's like make my stamen go berserk.
oh, my God.
Come on. I mean, that's the thing about it. Like, it's creative trash. Like, somebody was, just really thinking like, pollen in a flower and, inseminating a flower. Oh, it's the stamen. That's correct. But, wow.
Biologically correct.
Yes.
The thing about this movie is that there's a lot of songs and they're long and they have a lot of lyrics. So yeah, there's a lot of weird like wordplay in them. And I don't know. I feel like Reproduction is one where I'm just like, I always kind of forget about it. And then it starts, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
Isn't
my
that,
goodness.
now, okay, again, I'm not looking at any Google tonight. The actor, isn't the actor Tom Villard in the as well? You know what I'm talking about? He was gay and he died of AIDS and he was in all the high school movies. I think he's the one that goes, "Oh, I'm going to throw up."
Oh,
I think that's Tom Villard, who was in High School USA. I was a huge fan of his.
That kind of sounds right. Because I was looking up somebody that
cut
was
it out if I'm totally
High
wrong,
School
but
USA.
he was like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Villard, is that it? Tom Villard.
We'll look up
Boom,
Grease
boom,
2.
boom. Yep, Boy Greaser. That's him. That is him.
Okay.
Yep.
Boy Greaser. That's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah, there's a lot. The cast is huge in this movie. There's a lot of extras. There's a lot of background people.
I mean, they just got everybody in there.
Reproduction is wild. And then after that, it goes into
Who's that guy?
Who's that guy?
Because he gets the motorcycle. He learns it in a matter of...
Oh, that's
A
where
quick
the lyrics. Who's that guy on that motorcycle? What was that? That's where I was wrong. That's not in Cool Rider, of course. That's in Who's That Guy? Yes,
I love the montage when he's learning to ride the motorcycle, and Frenchie is like giving him lessons or something, like in the park. And that's another thing where I'm like, she's fully a ghost because she's like behind a tree.
She just appears and talks to Michael.
Yeah. It's so wild. So, yeah, the other thing is that he finally learns to ride the motorcycle. He gets so good at it that he runs afoul of the other gang. And the whole time he's wearing these huge, giant, motorcycle goggles. So no one can recognize him.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, it's the Clark Kent Superman thing. It's
style.
just like you've got glasses on. I have no idea who this is. Couldn't possibly be.
But they're so big, you
know.
can see his eyes clearly through them.
Yes.
Like even through a television, we're like, oh well, that's
It works in the universe of this movie.
Yeah, yeah. So who's that guy is the next number because that's after he kind of jumps a cop car.
Yeah.
On his motorcycle.
Sure.
Why not?
Frenchie gave him superpowers.
Yes,
Clearly,
that's true.
Stephanie is immediately all about him.
Oh, I mean, who wouldn't be?
At that point, we all are.
Who wouldn't be? When we get that scene at the gas station where it just kind of shows Stephanie on the job, and she's got all these angry customers.
I love her after-school job at the gas station. I think that's so fucking cool she works at a gas station. That's just how legit this chick is.
Yeah, yeah. But he pulls up.
Yeah.
And she's so busy that she doesn't even notice it. And he puts gas in his, in the motorcycle, and he's like, "How much do I owe you?" And she's like, 50 cents. And she looks over and sees that it's him, and she's like, "All right, fuck this. Everybody's yelling at me, screaming. I don't need this. You guys can get your own maps." Jumps on the back of his motorcycle, and they ride off into
those scenes with Michelle on the back of the motorcycle are wild because that is Michelle on the motorcycle.
She climbs from the back of the motorcycle to the front and straddles him facing him.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they're on a rig. It looks like it's just a motorcycle riding down a road. And it's
crazy.
I think
that's her.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe. I mean, sure, maybe. Why? Why would they do that?
Because there are other scenes of the T-Birds on their motorcycles, and they're clearly on a flatbed truck because they're right next to each other at the same speed, the entire time. I'm like, okay, this is so obviously fake. Why is that?
According to Maxwell Caulfield, stunt double Gary Davis, Michelle Pfeiffer performed her own stunts in that scene. That's she sat
crazy.
Behind me, and I lifted her around, and she straddled me, and we wheelied away. Crazy.
Wow.
You could never do that now.
Oh, no way.
Why would you?
Yeah. So this whole time she is on the back of this motorcycle. They ride off into the sunset. They have they share a kiss as the sun's going down. He takes her back to the gas station, and she still doesn't know it's Michael.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because that's when the T-Birds pull up. They've got all the pink ladies
on
the back.
So infinitely more creepy than if she did know. It's you're just going off on some random guy. Yeah. What if it's Pizza Face?
Exactly.
What if it's Pam Adlon? You don't know.
Then if it was Pizza Face, we'd have a Romeo and Juliet situation. It could be a whole other movie. But yeah. So all right. So what do we have after song wise, Scott? After Who's That Guy?
Then it's Prowler.
Do It for Our Country.
Oh my goodness, I'm so out of. Okay, yes, Do It for Our Country is a classic. That's the one I remember because Grease 2 came on every day and on HBO.
Sure.
In '83, I guess the year. I mean, I think even beyond that because I remember years of my childhood, and that's the one I remember the most. And I don't, as a kid, remember that song being about sex at all. I have no idea what I thought that song was. Mm-hmm. But I just remember finding it really fun. And Peter Frechette and Maureen Teefy really go for it in this. Yes. They're both really, really fun in this.
I remember the first time I watched this movie, I was working at the video store, and we just picked this movie to watch as we were working. And I remember when this song came on, I just stopped what I was doing, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? Like, it was this song that I'm just like... Oh my God! This movie is too much.
And where are they? They're in some sort of. It looks like they're in a bunker. But are they in the gym? Like the locker room?
No, because early on when that T-Bird, who's the T-Bird that sings this song?
Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis. When he is getting a term paper from Alexis Carrington,
from Michael.
From Michael. Michael's typing it up in the bunker. And he's just like, what is this? And he's like, oh, my uncle like has this fallout shelter for like nuclear war or whatever.
Oh, so it really is a bunker.
So so it actually is a fallout shelter.
At first we thought he was living in the bunker.
Yeah, so I was like, is this Michael's bedroom? Like he just lives here? Because he was like, oh, it's my uncle.
I think the idea was that he was trying to write these papers under the cover of night, and he had to steal away to the bunker to write them.
At any rate, the T-Bird's broken.
Yeah. Because they want to get laid.
Yeah.
And again, you have a cousin. Like, what is your story?
Yeah.
Your cousin from Australia. You're back from England, but you have a bunker at Rydell. Yeah. Like, okay. Yeah.
So Lewis, who is trying to get some from Maureen Teefy, Sharon,
that's her name.
Yeah, I think he's super cute. Cute.
Absolutely.
He's adorable.
Yeah, love him. I feel like
they work well with each other too.
They do. But when you mentioned earlier as a kid you didn't know the song was about sex, I don't think Maureen Teefy knew. Well, I don't think Sharon knew that the song was about sex either.
Oh, right. Yes.
She's just like, okay, I'll be a nurse, and you're going to go and go to Korea, or something.
You're going to go to Russia because it's the Cold War.
Yeah, I know. It was 61. So yeah, it would have been.
So it's kind of going into
it would have been.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Sure.
And the whole kind of hook of the song is that we're going to be the last people on Earth, and we have to do it for our country.
Yes, they trick her into thinking that the bombs are going off because they stole the siren.
Yes, that's yes.
They stole the bomb siren and
from
Eve
Arden. Yep.
Yeah. And so, but she doesn't even get that. She's just like, what? What are you talking about? He's just like, the sirens, the bombs are dropping. And she's like, what?
And in what world would you get like horny from hearing that? Like, well, let's do this now.
Yeah.
Like, that's your instinct? All right.
Yeah. I love that the other T-Birds though are so into it though. They're like, yeah, we are going to get you laid.
Yeah.
Dude.
They're friends.
Like when you're a teenager, it's like, yeah.
We'll trick a woman. We'll completely make her terrified for her life. Just for you, friend.
Yeah. That's what good friends do. I mean, when you're a teenage boy, I guess your friends getting laid is just as good as you getting it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember. It was too long ago.
So long ago. Yeah. Next we have not sure. Next we have Prowlin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for
Prowlin is wild.
Where is Prowlin sung out again?
In front of it looks like they're at a drive-in movie theater, or they're in the
screen.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right, they're like outside, and there's like the fence, but then that in my memory they're against a white screen.
Yeah, it turns into a weird
and this is going to be their talent,
stage
right?
Situation.
Yeah, I think they do tease that
because
that
I think it's
be
weird that you don't see the end result of their talent. They just cut to them and they're done.
At the talent show?
At the talent show.
Yeah, the talent. I mean,
because we don't need to see the number twice, I guess.
Right. And maybe it's too much music at the end of and they just needed it earlier in the movie.
I mean, the ending of the movie is like 4 songs in a row.
Oh, absolutely.
And the craziest production numbers.
Oh, we're getting into the last act of this movie, and the last 25 minutes of this movie, when they get songs. For Girl of All Seasons, this movie is just an overdrive.
Oh, boy.
That they just have to pack it in.
Well, they made the mistake of being like, let's do a song called Girl for All Seasons, and we'll make 12, because we have 12 months in this year that we have to cover in a song.
Yeah.
And, so let's see. So they all, I mean, again, like, is Paulette Winter?
But
Paulette is June.
Stephanie's got-
She's summer.
I know. I remember
Yeah.
Stephanie's a Christmas tree.
Yeah, she's got a
She's
Christmas
the end.
tree. Yeah, so
Right.
I guess it's the very end.
But like they definitely go through, and all the girl. I mean, it's like I feel like, and Maureen Tiffy's got leaves. She's
Yes,
fall,
she's
right?
fall, yeah. Their costumes are insane. Like for this play,
I mean, it's kind of like the fashion show in The Women.
Absolutely.
That we're going to
Yes.
stop this movie dead in its tracks and have a teenage fashion show.
Yes, yes.
yeah, you're
And just
right.
these high school girls made these things, these
Yeah.
really elaborate costumes.
But it also kind of looks like they're made out of tinsel,
Right.
like and Christmas ornaments.
It's very. You're right. It's the women in Drag Race. You know,
So-
just very gay.
Yes.
Just like this is definitely my high school dream to see girls down the. You know, like wait, what's going on?
And Stephanie is doing this number thinking that Michael is dead. Because they sort of had the big showdown
yes.
with
Right.
Michael
It
that
looked
looked
like-
like it was shot in like the Long Beach Pier.
and
Yes.
he like drove off the
Yeah.
cliff.
He drove off the cliff
Yeah.
and he's gone. And so she has to. The show must go on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
then, in the middle of Girl for Our Season, then she sings "Turn Back the Hand of Time," or what's that song called?
That's
Turn
Love
back,
will
it's called Love Will
turn back the hand of time. Yeah.
love will.
Parenthetical.
Turn back the hand of time.
And I take it that Stephanie just made up this song on the spot, and this is just her big showcase of the night that no one saw coming.
Right,
Right?
and it really does not, musically jive with Girl
No.
for All Seasons at all. But then she has where's the star coming from that she throws off of her?
Oh yeah.
She throws something off her head, or she's holding it and she throws it, and I mean,
Is it part of her costume? Is this
so.
the portion that just turns into like a wild like 80s new
Yes.
wave video?
Yes.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
when it goes full Xanadu.
it
Yeah.
completely. And and he does visit her, right? And there's lots of like sheets and
Michael's in his cute little
smoke.
leather motorcycle outfit. That teeny little frame of Michael. I almost called him Michael Shuffling, and that is
Someone
wrong.
else.
That is wrong, Michael.
Wrong movie.
That's the Michael from 16 Candles.
oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, Maxwell Caulfield. You're thinking of. Yeah, no, he looks great in that costume. That because his the jacket's kind of open. He's got no shirt on underneath. In her dream sequence.
As in all of our dream sequences.
Well, yeah, definitely. But this last scene, yeah, like you said, it goes full Xanadu. The lighting change, like it's crazy, and I kind of found myself kind of like thinking about other things. I was just like, what is going on right now? What movie are we watching?
Love will survive, even though we have to part. Stephanie, please don't cry.
Oh, it all seems so unfair. Just when I found you, I lost you.
That doesn't matter now. The only thing that matters is that I love you, and you're the only one who can keep our love alive. So Stephanie, don't forget me.
I promise.
But yeah, it's like we went straight from Girl for All Seasons into this, and then we get kind of like a short reprise of Prowlin
Yeah.
Right.
after that. Mm-hmm. And then they win the talent show, right?
Yeah, the T-Birds win, right? Because that's when she calls them the T-Bones.
And they're winning a collection of
100 records.
100 records.
Yes.
Interesting.
But they split it, Johnny and Stephanie
Okay.
each.
I mean,
win
can you
50.
imagine, story-wise, you're like getting, you're like, oh, the movie's running 2 hours. Let's definitely explain how they're going to split up their record collection because the audiences demand to know.
Oh, it was, yeah. It was a
Meanwhile,
whole
Frenchie and
plot
Pam
points.
Adlon have just gone away and,
Yeah.
but,
They got shipped off to other schools.
right.
But you hear some ADR from Frenchie of when
Do you?
Michelle is freezing during her number that you hear Dee Dee
Oh, yeah,
in a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit of
Is that
ADR.
a throwback to Beauty School Dropout? Because like it's very similar with Frankie
yeah.
Avalon of
Yeah.
her number.
Yeah.
So
this
maybe
song
that's
reminds
nod
me a
to
lot
that.
of
Beauty School Drama.
Beauty School Dropout, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, and then from there we go straight into the Rockahula Luau, which I feel like is 20 minutes long.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
And Doublemint Twins are definitely in that. I remember them in
Heavily
that.
featured.
Yes.
Yeah, they're heavily featured.
I mean, this is like Return of the King of like, nope, that's not the ending. And there's one more long scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, not that the rest of the movie is historically accurate, but they're wearing these like plastic like grass skirts. And I feel like that kind of like
It would have been a paper.
It would have been more of a paper.
It would have been
raffia.
paper. I mean, I guess what's true is that the early '60s they did have a real Hawaiian, Polynesian, you know, tiki love. You know, that was very popular then.
That's true.
And I guess kind of brought into fashion in the late '70s with Elvis,
right?
Too, when he did Aloha from Hawaii.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And and Alan Carr was always in muumuus, so it was also his aesthetic as well.
He loved a good caftan.
He loved it.
Did you watch that documentary?
I'm in the documentary.
Oh, that's right. You are in the documentary. I love that. I'm like, did you watch the Alan Carr documentary?
Yeah,
of course you are.
I'm the voice of Alan Carr in the documentary.
My God.
Which all I did was I did like effort. So it was like, I don't know. Like I didn't have any lines in that. But Jeffrey Schwartz asked me to do that. I was very honored.
Great interviews with Lorna in that documentary.
Oh yes. Yeah. It's a great documentary. Yeah. So yeah, check it out, everybody.
Definitely. And they say that he never forgave Olivia Newton-John for saying no.
Yep.
To Can't Stop the Music.
Yep. I know.
But she couldn't have done that in Xanadu in the same year.
No.
I mean, that's one of those like she was fucked either way,
Yeah.
I mean, I am also someone who I could also come on here and talk about either of those movies with the same love for Grease too, because I do love both of those movies.
She got those great songs off the Xanadu soundtrack.
Oh, that soundtrack is perfection.
Her voice.
ELO
and that's
Olivia.
the thing that I think Grease 2 is kind of missing, is that it doesn't have that Olivia voice. That just pure magic in Olivia Newton-John's vocals that none of these actors have.
Yeah. Because even the songs that even Hopelessly Devoted to You, like songs from Grease 1 have gone on to have their own kind of like life of their own outside of being part of the soundtrack.
I know. I agree, and at the same time, I will listen to Grease 2 any day over Grease. Like I don't know why. I love it. I wait. I know it's this new sort of back and forth of which one's better, but it's like I don't know. I mean, I see Grease as being a superior film,
right?
But I don't know. I love Grease Lightning, and I love Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee, but I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing too. Like, we just have this love for Olivia Newton-John and the songs of Xanadu.
Yeah, I like Olivia Newton-John in Xanadu more. Her music more than in Grease. I mean, because I love magic and all.
Yeah.
Oof, so good.
Xanadu was a very early episode of our show that we did.
It was.
We did that in like the first 10 episodes with Darren.
Yes, indeed. And isn't there an ELO version of the song Xanadu with his vocals on it? Yeah, which is actually kind of really good.
And have y'all seen the stage show?
No.
One of the best musical parodies I've ever seen, or just I thoroughly enjoyed. That was a fantastic show.
Our guest Darren for that episode had seen that show. I think with Cheyenne.
Okay.
I did not get to see Cheyenne, but he was doing Damn Yankees at the time. This is how much I know. But I did see Carrie Butler and Mary Testa and Jackie Hoffman, and it was
Jackie Hoffman, we love.
Yeah, the greatest. Yeah,
so good.
That's awesome. So Rock a Hula Luau. It's been half an hour. The song is coming to an end, and it goes into
and they've somehow erected like a pool in the middle of the
of
the football field.
Well, they have to have something for him to drive the motorcycle into.
Yeah.
If not, why wouldn't it be a swimming pool?
And it's one of those things that they're now doing this ritual where they bring the king and the queen of the hula into the middle of the pool. I don't know. It's just like some of the setups for this scene are crazy.
Yeah. And okay, so the final song is called We'll Be Together. And as I'm like, following along in the movie and I have like my Wikipedia page open, I'm looking at the songs and everything, I'm thinking, oh, okay, We'll Be Together. It's going to be a reprise of the closing song from Grease.
Which is We Go Together.
We Go Together. Right. That's what I'm thinking in my
Missed
head.
opportunity.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a slow, it's like a ballad.
Yes.
And then the movie just, it cuts to graduation.
Yes, and then the freeze frame where they throw their caps in the air.
Yeah.
Obsessed with the bizarre passage of time in this movie.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
it just feels like a week has gone by at Rydell High. Yep.
Right.
yeah, but it's been an entire school year, and it's that thing of like, I don't think they actually do say it in this movie. They say it in the first one of that, like, we're graduating tomorrow. We're never going to see each other
again.
So see you later, guys. But then we get the cool like freeze frames of all the couples from like the T-Birds and the Pink Ladies, and there's the one T-Bird that does not get a girl with him. It is Davy Jaworski, played by Leif Green, who we decided is the gay one.
His name is Leif Green. So not Leif Garrett, but
not yeah.
I'm
right.
sure that Leif Garrett was
the little
probably read for something in this
I can't
movie.
believe that when you mentioned that list earlier of all the
I'm sure that Leif
heartthrobs,
Garrett
I'm like, did Leif Garrett go in for this? Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
I don't know. I don't think Leif Garrett's hot enough. After you cast Maxwell Caulfield, it's like, who are you going to go to?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
yeah. So we finally got our ending. But I mean, I feel like the Rockahula was a little long, but yeah, there are some really fun songs in this, and I can just sit back and watch Score Tonight or Cool Rider
any day,
any
time
day of the week.
Cue that up on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting of the divide of people that are very vocal about this movie or the first one. That you're just sort of in two camps.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also like, I love camp, to speak of the two camps, and I feel like I enjoy, and I think for me, it goes back to, Grease. I remember my mom always said when I was a baby that she would like play the record of Grease, and we would always dance around. So I grew up in a house that watched both movies a lot.
Okay.
But still, I feel like I was just a little bit older, and I was just like, the age that I felt like Grease 2 was kind of mine, and maybe Grease was my mom's, and my mom and my dad's.
Yeah.
And so, and then there's something about it that I think Grease 2 is funnier and just more bizarre. But I think it's like if you like, a well-made piece versus a crazy trashed piece. Which do you prefer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask which one you saw first, because I feel like sometimes maybe if people saw Grease 2
I'm
first,
sure I saw Grease first.
Yeah, it sounds like you might have just.
I'm sure, because my mom would always put it on. I don't remember my dad liking Grease, but my mom was obsessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both movies sort of inhabit their own universe, and Grease 2 is just a little crazier.
Yes. Well, yeah. By a lot. And then, I think it's just about they're just the movie musicals that are a lot more earnest, that are just like great musicals. And then they're the ones that are just like, oh, this, like I said, the wheels are falling off the bus. And you're like, I kind of like those.
Yeah.
But
it's still fun.
Yeah. But I don't dislike Grease. I know, man, I can't, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, though, that right now I feel like, I don't know why, I just feel like I'm hearing so much more about Grease 2 than ever. I feel like more people are.
I know there's a whole debate about that. I know it's weird how these they make comebacks.
Yeah, it's been around, and I always have a memory of it. I've seen it. First time I saw it, I was a small kid, but I think that like Grease 1 has just been this juggernaut of like karaoke and Halloween and like just John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, that it's just overshadowed it for so long. And for some reason now people are just like, you know what, Grease 2 is actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
So,
and like I mentioned before, that Michelle has sort of come around to her relationship with this movie, or at least from what I've observed.
Sure.
That she will acknowledge it and just say, like, people do come up to me and say how much they love Grease 2. And it's a crazy movie, and I can have fun with it.
Yeah. Maybe she's just too gracious to roll her eyes when people
yeah, probably.
Well, she's become a tremendous film star, and so it's like
she has a giant body of work in between it.
And it's always got to be hard when people want to come up and tell you that. But that's all. Like you can't really control that. Even when you become a huge movie star, when somebody's going to tell you "I love you" in this, it's just like that's their thing. They love you from.
Yeah.
So.
Hey. And when did she get on Instagram?
She got on
2
Instagram
years
probably
ago?
about 3 years ago
3
or
years
so.
ago? Yeah, because she's been so, like, she's notoriously
And she's very
private.
active, too. And she comments on other people's stuff, too.
Well, that's what I was going to say. She's always been so private through the years. She hardly ever does. She doesn't do like late night talk shows, and when she does, it's a huge deal. And for her to go on to Instagram and actually run it, and it's one of those accounts where you can tell that it's actually her,
Right.
Because of the comments and the posts
Sure,
and things.
sure.
And it's just it's kind of cool. You're like, wow, that's kind of great to see this, to see her being as accessible, because she is so like.
She was one of the last great movie stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because she's such a big movie star, and she's so like, I think just this thing about like her beauty, like you said, seeing her on the street, you're just like, oh my God, that woman is so beautiful, that she just seems inaccessible. So to be able to have that kind of access is kind of really cool.
Yeah.
This is the 4th appearance of her on our podcast.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, we love Michelle Pfeiffer.
We did The
around
Witches
here.
of Eastwick,
Of course.
Grease 2, Batman Returns,
Oh,
and
the
What
best.
Lies Beneath.
And What Lies Beneath.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Great.
Yeah.
Well, she absolutely should have gotten an Oscar nomination for Batman Returns.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that, and that's another thing that's come out now, and a lot of people are saying Batman Returns is better than Batman. I love both of those. Those are, to me, the best Batman films, and those two. And I think she gives. I mean, she's heartbreaking in that movie, and a badass.
good.
I mean, she does it all, and there's no. There'd be no question in my mind now with our giving Oscars to 2 Jokers now.
Yeah.
That like absolutely it would have been the situation had it come out now that she would have gotten that, because
Yeah.
And it's wild that Witches of Eastwick was only like 5 years after this movie.
that is wild.
because
That does
seems
feel like
insane.
that
Seems
seems so much more
established
right.
in that movie.
Yes, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and another great movie that is. People don't talk about that as much
Yeah.
anymore, but
Her working relationship with Jonathan Demme, with Married to the Mob, almost Clarice Starling. She said no because she just thought it was too dark.
wow,
Yep.
right, that's right. I did
insane.
remember that. Yeah.
Insane.
What a whole different movie.
Yeah. But it's crazy when you are a kid and you see, these movies, and the length of time in between movies to you as a child, you're just like, wow, it just seems like so much shit went down, in her career. It's like she just got started in Grease 2, and these movies were, so far apart. But then as an adult, you're like, actually, that was like 4 years. Like,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Our concept of the passage of time when we're little is so different.
Oh, because 4 years is a lifetime.
It's half your life.
Even in high school,
As
you're
a
like,
kid.
oh my God, 9th grade to 12th grade.
Yeah.
It's much different than now when,
You're just like 4 years ago. That was
yesterday.
I don't even remember it.
Right.
But Michelle is forever iconic, and we like. What Lies Beneath was kind of a stretch for us as far as the concept of this
We
show.
just did it because
but
we love
made it
Michelle.
work.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Michelle Pfeiffer and Diana Scarwood on screen, like together on a Ouija board.
Together
like,
at long
we're
last
there.
on a Ouija board.
Literally just like, I cannot with Diana Scarwood. She makes me furious. Like, she has been in so many incredible movies, including that, and including, Silkwood and obviously Mommy Dearest, and so many. Psycho 3, which is one of my favorites.
She's the runaway nun in Psycho 3.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
Yep.
The nun hits the bell, and then she's off in love with Norman, and she's in Extremities. And I find her just like antimatter. She makes me crazy. I get so upset watching her. Dead Delivery, that she does everything like this. No, I can't.
Oh no!
My God, though, I would kill for. Who wouldn't kill for that resume?
Yeah.
The opportunities that woman's been
I'm
given.
telling you.
Wake up, Diana.
I'm telling you. And the interesting thing about her is that, her resume, those are some big movies.
It's impressive.
But I feel like your average man on the street may not be super aware of Diana Scarwood.
No. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
for an actor to look at
Yes.
But and obviously Faye Dunaway is insane, and all the flack that she got for Mommy Dearest. But I'm like, watch Mommy Dearest again. Can we move some criticism? Because
Yeah.
at least Faye Dunaway is doing something. Because Christina, I get why she's hit her more, wake her up.
Oh,
Okay,
my goodness.
so we're doing pretty good on time. We're a little ahead of schedule, and I want you to tell your Faye Dunaway story that you told on Johnny McGovern's YouTube show.
Oh my God! Yes,
Because I remember thinking this was so funny.
Oh my God! Okay, yes. So I did interact with her twice, but this is the movie theater story.
The movie theater.
Okay, great. So yeah, this was a minute ago because it would have been 2009 whenever Slumdog Millionaire came out.
Around 2008, 2009.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, great. So yeah, so at the now also RIP ArcLight movie theater, our favorite place on earth.
Yeah.
A Friday morning, I used to love to go see the new movies Friday at like 10:30 or 11 a.m., the earliest screening.
Good time. Yeah.
When I had the day off, which is often if you're an actor in LA. And I went to the ArcLight, and I was walking down the steps. I just heard about this new movie, Slumdog Millionaire, that was opening that day. And I'm walking down, and I hear in my earshot, I just hear this voice saying, "Just what the fuck is wrong with my car?" And I just knew immediately. And I turn around, and there's a woman in it is like a Boss of the Plains hat that she's wearing. Like, don't look at me, but I am a giant creature on these, just in fabrics and just everything. And I look at him like, that's Faye Dunaway on the phone screaming about her car. So I go down, I get concessions, and then I go into the theater, and there were only like 4 or 5 people in the theater, and my ticket was supposed to be right next to hers.
Oh my God.
And if I saw this in a movie, I wouldn't believe it, but she had laid out varieties and like Hollywood reporters on either side of her.
I love that.
She just camped out. Which just sounds like, oh, come on, like a movie star. But I promise that's what she had on either side of her. And I knew, I was like, I don't want to sit right next to her because it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Or if she just decides that we're friends and I'm just like, I don't know why, whatever. Probably some lovely member of the homosexual community thought it would just saw me buy a ticket and was like, oh, put the gay guy right next to Faye Dunaway. He'll love this movie. Because I don't know why I ended up right next to anyway. So I just sat a few seats away because I wanted to be near her. And she was having her car trouble, and she kept storming past me before the movie started on her phone. And just like I had to move my feet to get out of the way, that she would just come flying by me with just her scarves and her, and capes and things. And so I just, I was like, and she did it like 2 or 3 times, and it was just like, and screaming on the phone. And also at the ArcLight, there was they didn't do like trailers I mean, they do like 3 trailers right before the movie starts, but there's no commercials. Mm-hmm. So it's just this like, you're just looking at it, nothing, And so I was like, if she does this again, I'm going to make her say, excuse me, because I'm a Southern lady. And I'm like, no, I'm moving away from you all the time. I'm like, I was just like, this will be fun. So she needed to get by me again after several times. So she's standing right next to my legs and it's just breathing, huffing. And I am staring ahead at a blank screen and eating red vines, not even remotely like aware that there's someone right next to me that needs to get by. Because I was just like, you've done it enough times, you can be a person. And so she got right in my face and she just goes, excuse me. And I mean, it blew my hair back. It was full Supergirl, Bianca. And I was so thrilled to have her hot Hollywood raunch breath in my face. And then and I moved away, and then she came back and sat down. And then the movie started, and she took out a little notepad with a pencil and started taking copious notes.
I love that because she's an actor.
She's a member of SAG-AFTRA.
My God.
I have to vote in the union. And so she's taking notes. And then the scene pretty early on in the movie where they're jumping the cars and the 3-6 Mafia song is playing. Mm-hmm. She stands up when that happens. And she goes, well, all right. And whisks her and then leaves.
What an exit.
Yeah, it was. She'd had enough. So I guess she didn't vote for it that year. Or maybe she decided it gets my vote. I mean, I don't know. But
I think she had to go pick up her car.
That was it. Her car was ready.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but it was one of the joys of, you often the ArcLight, one of the best things you would go and you'd see so many people there. And
you would just see the most random celebrities there.
Yeah.
That you could just run into somebody like an ex-boyfriend or something that you haven't seen in like 5 years and then just see like Kristen Bell.
Right. Oh, yeah. All the time.
Wow.
Oh, I hope they bring it back. They have to.
Yeah.
There's somebody has to buy the place.
I
and
think so.
Turn it
I
back
mean,
into
it's such a
movie.
great piece of real estate for movies
Yeah.
that can't go.
Even if it's
Well, the
just
Cinerama Dome will
dome,
have to stay. That's
yeah.
a landmark, so that'll
Yeah.
stay. But it's just like, and who? I mean, it's such a huge moneymaker.
Oh my God,
Somebody's
yeah.
gonna.
That was the first movie theater that I went to when I moved to LA.
Oh,
Yep, and I just remember being blown away by it.
yeah. Do you remember what movie you saw?
Cyrus with Jonah Hill and Marissa Tomei.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yep.
I remember my dad used to take us there when we were kids.
To the Cinerama Dome.
To the Dome, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went
Did
to
you
the
grow up here?
Yeah, I grew up in L.A.
The first time I went to the Cinerama Dome, I saw The Fighter. David O. Russell's The Fighter.
Yes.
And
I love that
was
movie.
very, very hungover, and I threw up in the bathroom.
Oh no.
Yep. Because I was
God.
out with friends of ours the night before, and I decided to go to a movie hungover. Not a great idea.
Well, and that movie is it's rough. It's
Yep.
very emotional.
Oh, my goodness.
A lot of Melissa Leo. Yeah, sure. I don't remember the first movie I saw at the ArcLight, but I remember when it opened here.
Yeah.
Because I've been here that long. But and I had never gone to the Cinerama Dome before that, before it was with the ArcLight. But yeah. I mean, what was the last movie y'all saw in the theater?
The last movie that we saw, at the Dome was Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would not have remembered
the last
that.
movie that we saw in the theater was Spiral last night.
Spiral. What
The
was
new
that?
Saw
The
movie.
new Saw
Oh,
reboot.
okay. See, I love horror
Chris
movies, and
Rock.
I'm not into those. I don't do those.
It's the first
the
Saw
Saw ones.
movie I ever saw.
I've only seen the
Okay.
first one.
Never seen any of them.
Okay.
It was not great.
Yeah, the last movie I saw in the theater was this movie called Swallow. And also a horror movie about a woman who swallows objects. She swallows like tacks and
Oh my God.
all kinds of things. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds
And before that, it was Invisible Man. That's like the last
Right,
that,
yeah.
big one. That
I feel like Invisible Man was the last studio movie to make any money in the theater.
yeah,
crazy.
I
Well,
know.
they're back now.
they're back now.
But,
Got to go back.
Just not the ArcLight. Remember the little? Did you ever eat in the restaurant at the ArcLight?
Oh,
We
all
go
the
to bar.
time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The restaurant was cool. The bar was
No,
awesome.
the food was good. Oh God.
We have some commemorative glassware from the bar.
Yeah. We have our
Every now and then
our
they would
Donna
have-
Justice glass.
Yeah.
And our solo glass that we got there. Yep.
I was about to
Indeed.
ask you who was Donna Justice, and then I realized you said Dawn of Justice.
Yep.
Donna
Like
Justice.
Donna Justice.
My
Is she on Drag Race?
Yep.
drag name. Yeah.
That'd be a really good drag name.
Yeah. I know.
You can just do all the Justice League. You can do a half and half Superman, Wonder Woman. I love a good half and half.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
So, oh my goodness, this has been a lot of fun.
Oh my God, so much fun.
Yeah.
Grease 2.
Grease 2.
Grease 2.
So it had been a while since I had seen it. Because I've only really have seen this movie a handful of times.
Yeah.
I remember watching it in high school and then maybe not revisiting it for another 12 years.
Yeah.
And then I watched it last night.
So we watch it on Paramount Plus, where if you're a subscriber, you can
streaming
stream
everywhere.
stream it there. But I think
It's
it's
also
on
on
a couple
Prime.
of other, a couple of other platforms.
Yeah.
So I hadn't seen it in a while either, but I have seen it 100 times probably.
Yeah. Same. Easy.
We watched it a lot as kids.
Yeah. It's definitely worth checking out if you have not
Indeed.
seen it.
Indeed. Drew, would you like to tell our listeners where they can find you? Is there anything you want to plug?
Sure. I'm on Twitter at Drew Droege and Instagram at Drew_Droege. And I have nothing to plug. If you're in LA in July, we are doing the Golden Girls Live on
Yes.
stage.
I love that.
Yay.
At the Casita del Campo the last 3 weekends in July.
That's exciting.
It starts July 9th, so tickets go on sale June 9th.
Okay.
And we're doing 2 brand new episodes.
Yay.
And we will announce all of that soon. But if you're in town, then come check it out.
We watched the special airing a few months ago.
The Zoom.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That was
thanks for
cute.
watching that.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you
was
for watching
fun.
that. I'm so glad we had. I didn't even know that we had those available, that someone had filmed them. So I think from now on we will be filming them.
Yeah.
But they're not. I mean, if you're here, there's some real magic as you know from seeing anything at Casita del Campo that you have to go down. It's this gorgeous Mexican restaurant in Silver Lake, and it's just classic Hollywood. That's not the touristy. It's like where the locals know to go. Like this is a fun thing. Great Mexican food upstairs, and then margaritas and a lot of usually drag or whatever downstairs in that little space.
You'll
so
definitely
I'm so
see
excited.
us there.
Oh
that,
yes,
because we
please
love
come
going.
say hi after. Please, because we are very excited, and they're doing lots of restrictions and all that, and I think I do think that they're not, as of now, having walk-ups available. So I think you have to get a reservation in advance, and we're trying to make it as safe as possible for everybody. So
the numbers in LA are getting better. So
I mean,
optimistic.
Who knows? By then we may be able to open up even more.
Probably.
Probably. I don't know. I'm also in the place of I've been fully vaccinated for almost 2 months now, so I'm ready to just get out in the world.
Absolutely.
Same.
Yeah.
Quick story. We took my mother to Casita del Campo to see one of the shows, and she's like, "Oh, this restaurant's really nice." And I was like, "Yeah, it's like a gay Mexican restaurant." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Look around." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And there was a table in the room behind the bar, and it was a long table, and it was all men, and they were all older gentlemen, gray hair, just like buzz cuts. All of them wearing tank tops.
Yep.
Earrings.
Great arms.
Great arms.
Yep.
Tattoos. And I was like, well, look at that table. And she's like, well, what about that table? And I was like, Mom, those men are all over 65, covered in tattoos, in tank tops, earrings, and buzz cuts. Does nothing strike you?
Right. And they're all talking about funny lady.
Yeah. She was honestly like, well, how do you know they're gay? And I'm like, Mother.
I know.
I just know.
It's very sweet. I know. I love that.
Yeah, we just know. So come to Casita del Campo. Stay for the entertainment, but have dinner upstairs.
Yeah.
It's a great
it's a show from the second you walk in the door. So yeah.
Absolutely.
We got to get Sam on the show sometime.
Oh yeah, it's Sam.
Jackie did Poseidon Adventure.
Oh,
we
perfect.
have to get Sam.
Yes, and Sherry too. They're both
Yep.
wonderful, and they'll have.
Sherry.
I mean, I will say all four of us are total nerds when it comes to movies, and so we love. That's something that all four of us share in common. So. Sam and Sherry are both really well versed in that, so they'll be great to talk to. So.
And Jackie's best girlfriend, Muffy.
Oh, Muffy's also great.
She always comes into my Trader Joe's.
Oh.
And I would see her in with Jackie. And
of course.
This was like a few years ago, and just me being like, is that Jackie Beat? Is that Jackie Beat out of drag?
Yes.
And who is she with?
It's the Muffy Building.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, get them all on there. They're all great to talk to.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to all of them and have them on the show. But thank you so much. Thanks
for having me. This was so much fun
to talk about.
Yeah.
We hope we can have you on again in the future.
Please, I'd love to do it.
All right. Well, until then, see you next time. And thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Fun episode.
Another fun episode. Yeah, you can find Grease 2 on Amazon Prime if you subscribe to that, which everybody in the world does, but also on Paramount Plus, so you can watch Grease 2.
Also, check out, we talked about it in the last episode, but TCM Underground for their Slumberground YouTube series. They just did Grease 2.
Yes.
And the episode was a lot of fun. You can listen to past guests Millie and Ben talk about it.
Yes, indeed. So if you go to the Turner Classic Movies YouTube channel, one of their shows is called Slumberground, and they do some really, really fun movies. They also talk about Ninja 3 that we mentioned earlier in the episode. So yes, indeed. So I think it is time for some fun stuff. We have a new review.
We do.
Scott, why don't you read the new review?
This is from Okay Sure Yes, entitled Absolutely Delightful. Just listen to the Parent Trap episode. Goddamn, this show is so great. Such a delicious combo of movie facts, personal stories, and genuine joy for so many movies from my childhood that I love. Such an easy listen. I love that.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much. That was from Apple Podcasts, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. So much fun. And we also have some patrons to say hello to.
Yay!
Our Patreon shout-outs. So we would just like to say hello To our patrons, Charlie, Heather, Muffy, Paul, Jamie, Drew, Jimmy, Genevieve, Dawn, Josh, Emma Melly, Aaron, Melinda, Jim, Jessica, John, Nick, Christine, and Rufino. You guys, thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for being a friend.
The Patreon support is amazing.
Yeah.
You can head over to patreon.com/moviesthatmadeusgay to check out some fun, exciting, extra exclusive tidbits.
Our new newsletter will probably be out soon.
Yes, indeed. We're going to do a
coming
second
out.
one for May because we kind of lagged a little bit on the newsletter. Sorry, guys, but we'll do a second one for May. And we just dropped a new Watch With Us commentary.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, it's been a couple weeks, but the newest Watch With Us commentary is for The Sweetest Thing. So if you like The Sweetest Thing, head on over.
Also, by this time, our 100th episode free commentary will be out.
Yes, indeed. 10 Things I Hate About You. Check it out. If you haven't already, you can go to patreon.com/moviesthatmadeusgay, even if you're not a subscriber, and listen to the 10 Things I Hate About You commentary track. You can queue up the movie on Netflix, listen to the commentary track. You will tell you exactly when to press play on the movie so that it syncs up to our audio, and it'll be like watching the movie with Scott and me.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of fun. There's lots of other commentary tracks on our Patreon, as well as the monthly newsletter, behind-the-scenes photos, videos, lots of fun stuff.
Extended episodes for when we go a little long.
Yeah, extended episodes. Exactly. So lots of cool stuff over there on Patreon. So go ahead and subscribe to that if you can. We would love it very, very much. And we would also love it if you would rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts.
Give us 5 stars.
Yes, indeed. Give us 5 stars and leave us a review. We'll read it on the air, just like we read the review earlier. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Movies That Made Us Gay, and on Twitter
at MTMUG Pod.
Yes, indeed. I am Pete, and I am on Instagram and Twitter at Peter Lasagna. I'm also on Letterboxd at Peterific. I need to update that. Haven't updated.
You're going to review some more movies on there.
Yes, indeed.
I'm Scott Youngbauer on Instagram, Oscar Scott on Twitter, and just Scott Youngbauer on Letterboxd. See what I'm watching.
Yes, indeed.
I did a lot of loggings this weekend of movies.
Oh, cool. I'll catch up and log some of the stuff that we've seen lately. But until then, thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.